Getting ready for this next heat. We've got 6 athletes going. This one will probably be a little bit more of a question as far as who's going to win. And my watch is it's not accurate, so I'm off by probably like 5 seconds. So I'm going to add 5 seconds and assume that's how much I'm off. We've got Sean Kadkadayan out in front.
40, 41, 42.
Yep, right about 5 seconds. That was 42.
45.
Top girl in the early going. Oh, it's Shreya Modak. She's never run cross country before. She got through a few weeks of a track season before COVID shut it down. Showed some promise in middle distances, but this will be the first time she's run a 3200. Second place in the orange, that's Aditya Chudasama. He ran about 12:45, I think he said, at the end of cross country last year. We got about an 87, 88, 89 on that first lap. It's going to be Sarah Vanoni through in about 92, 93 maybe. Freshman Erica in about 95. And Ayan in about 97. Ayan Ilkal, also a freshman, just getting started with us. Sean got off to a strong start last year in cross country when he was one of our top freshmen at the time trial, but then he was hurt. Ended up with some shin splints that really nagged him throughout the season and then didn't have a track season. So he's at about 2:15, so we're running about 12-minute pace. Aditya not too far behind him. And Shreya is up there. I don't know. Maybe Shreya is ready to run there. But I think that's probably a little bit more than she can chew for now. But she's being aggressive, and I like that. Aditya's put in some really good training here since, the start of summer. He's been pretty consistent out at practice. So I would expect to see some significant improvement from him this fall. We're right at about 3:01 for Sean and about 3:04 for Aditya. Shreya is going to come through in 3:09, 3:08 maybe. And we're going to have Erica and Sarah come through. Erica's in about 3:17 and 3:18 for Sarah. And Ayan, a few weeks into training, and we stuck him in a time trial. That's how it works. But he's going to learn some things today, coming through the 800 in about 3:39. We'll catch Sean's 1,000-meter split here, still out in front. Slowly, right around 3:49. He's slowly gaining ground, I think, on Aditya, at 3:53. And Shreya is going to come through as still the leading girl, and right about 4 flat, maybe 4:01. And we'll see what happens with this. And Sean's approaching 1,200 here. Good job, gentlemen. Aditya, see if you can get there and push him. Sean, don't let him. 4:36 for Sean. And it's going to be 4:41 for Aditya. So he's put about 5 seconds on him in the first 3 laps. And Shreya's lead is she's coming back a little bit, but she's still out in front for the girls. And we're at about 4:53. And here's Erica closing that gap the fastest, and right around 5 flat through 1200. And we're going to see Sarah come through in about 5:04. Ion's working his way around. We're going to see Sean looks like he's lengthened that lead even a little bit more at this point as he comes up to 1400. Maybe at 5:25. And you know, maybe it's about the same because right about 5:29, 5:30. So I thought it was a little bit more, but it's about the same. We're seeing Ion come through here. Shreya still is holding the lead on the girls' side. Coming through in 5:48. And we're seeing Ion come through, had to be right around 5:50 through 1200. We're approaching the mile here with Sean, and again, it doesn't look like a whole lot has changed as far as the gap. We'll see his mile time. We're going to get everybody's mile time here. It's 6:12, 6:13. And Aditya is going to be at about 6:18. So still that 5-second disparity remains. And here we're going to see Shreya and Erica's a little bit closer still. But Shreya's still holding the lead. Shreya's going to hold that lead through the mile, coming through in about 6:38, 6:40. So 6:38, 6:39, and then right around 6:40 for Erica. And there's the change. That's when that pass is going to happen. And Erica's going to go by. We're going to see Sarah come through the mile mark here. And she's going to be at right around 6:58 or 6:59. So halfway to 14 minutes. We're going to see our first lapping take place here in just a second when Sean goes by Ion. And Sean's making his way to 5 laps to 2K, and Ion's going to make his way to the mile. Definitely now there's a little bit more space between Sean and Aditya. So Aditya hung on pretty strong to the mile. Let's see what happens as they move, as they run the second mile. We're going to have Sean come through in about 7:48. And we'll see Aditya pass Ion here. Let's go, gentlemen. Good work. About 7:57 for both. You know, for Aditya, that was his 2K. For Ion, that was his 1600. And Erica has made a pretty decisive move here to pull ahead of Shreya and open that gap. Coming through 5 laps in about 8:25, maybe 8:24. And Shreya probably just went out a little too hard today. We'll get her a little bit more fit and she'll be able to manage that. That's 8:37, 8:38. That's not out of her ballpark forever, but it's a little bit out of her ballpark for now. I think where she started, that's probably where we want her to be sooner rather than later, but she's not there yet. And for Sarah, this is going to be about 8:56. And here comes Sean. He's on his way to finishing lap 6. And Aditya is coming around the corner too. So Sean's going to be right around 9:24. Yes. 9:24 through 6 laps, and Aditya is now going to be at 9:37 through 6 laps. And now it looks like Erica's hit the wall a little bit too. I don't think Shreya's going to catch her, but that big move was a, I'm going to put you away and sprint for a mile, but put her away, but maybe doesn't have the juice to sprint for a mile. So we're going to have Ion pass 5 laps here, and that's going to be in right around 10:14, 10:15, and this is going to be 10:17, 10:18 for Erica through 6 laps. And we've got Shreya making her way down the home stretch, approaching 6 laps for her. So Shreya is going to be through 6 laps in 10:38. Sarah's about to get through 6 laps. For Sean, this is going to be 7. This is going to be bell lap for Sean. For Sarah, it's going to be 6. And they're both going to come through right around 10:57, 10:56, 10:57. Here we go with DTL. Let's finish strong. Big last lap. Let's get that PR. 11:19. His PR was about 12:45, so he probably won't hit that today. I'm a little surprised. I thought he'd be able to. Maybe he just went out a little bit harder than he should have. Here's Erica still leading the girls' race, but I don't think she's running that much faster than Shreya is at this point. I think Shreya actually might think that she's done. But Erica has put about 100, or less than 100, but maybe 75 meters on Shreya. And she's coming through her bell lap in 12:09. And Sean's about to finish. 12:15, 12:16 for Sean finishing up. This will be Ion going through 6 in 12:24. And Shreya going through 7 in 12:27. Yeah, Aditya's got a little bit more left than maybe he thought because he's coming in pretty strong. And he's going to finish up here in about 12:52. 12:52. And Sarah's going to be through 6 laps in 12:58. We're going to see Erica close this thing out. 200 to go. Ion with about 600 to go. And Shreya back a little bit behind that. So at this point, we have 3 athletes that are on their bell lap, and we've got one on their penultimate lap. Erica's coming home pretty strong, freshman girl, taking the top girl spot in this heat. Should be pretty happy about that. And she's finishing well. About 13:49 for the finish. And then we've got Shreya coming down the stretch in front of Ion. For Erica, it was her first 2-mile ever on the track. For Shreya, it's also her first ever 2-mile on the track. And about 14:22. Got Ion here with 1 to go. And he's going to come through at 14:32. I don't know why he moved outside. He moved outside there for a second, but back to the inside. And we got Sarah finishing up hers. And she's going to come through in 1455, 54 maybe. And we've still got Ion with about 300 to go.
Goddamn bugs, man.
Are there a lot down there?
Just getting up all in my business.
Arian's all business, warming up for his heat. With about 200 to go, Ion is going to be at 1541, maybe 1540.
I wish, Coach. By the end of the season.
And Ion's finishing up here.
Also, your mom's calling on your phone. Keep going.
Do not miss your mom's phone.
And Ion is going to come through in about 1637, 1638.